Well, party loyalty in the general context of the meaning in English language means that you are steadfast, that you are true to the ideologies, to the ethics, and to the general well-being of a political party. Come rain, come shine. So it includes whether the party is doing well, whether the party is doing badly, whether the party is in glory, and whether the party is in crisis. So it doesn't matter what condition the party is. You are loyal when you stand by the party. But in Nigeria, party loyalty does not exist. The
Okay.
party loyalty
So
existed in the
can you
First
explain how
Republic.
party loyalty has evolved in Nigeria since the return of democratic governance in 1999?
Well, if you permit me to go back a little uh, to the first political parties we had during the independence time, we talk of the NCNC, the AG, and the NPC. Those times there were party loyalties. We could say there were party loyalties. People stuck to one party. Um, the way party was formed at that time means people had their party card, so they do monthly contributions. So political parties were mostly largely funded by the loyalty and followership of the parties. But that eroded when we got the presidential system in 1979. And by the time we came around the corner again after the military interregnum of 15 years, we found out that um, between 1999 and now, there is no clear definition of what a party loyalty means in Nigerian politics. What we have had are people, politicians generally, who want to get power, and in getting that power, they do anything possible, including the cross carpeting, are the easiest or the faintest excuse to be able to just cross over. So any political platform that can give them access to power is what they follow. So there's no political loyalty, party loyalty. And that is why you're seeing that between 1999 and now, if you find the crux of people who made up the People's Democratic Party, for example, the Alliance of Democracy, the All People's Party, uh, which were the three main parties, the Alliance for them, those are the three major parties in 1999. You'll find out that there have been all sorts of party implosion, party separation, party caucuses that have gone out to form their own, cross carpeting, realignments, and all those things. Even it is strange that even strange political bedfellows, people who don't agree, people who have abused some political parties, and people who even swore that they will never belong to a particular party, actually went back and without shame went to those political parties and belonged to them. So these are the kind of things we have seen since 1999, and it's actually shameful.
Okay, so to what extent do personal interests and influence the length and strength or weakness of political loyalty?
I made boast to say that since 1999, the party affiliations and party loyalties have largely been influenced by personal gains and not by the gains of the electorates. I made bold to say that. These are easily traced through the trajectory and antecedents of the political players over the years. So you see people whose constituency even want him to remain a particular party, and you get the slightest excuse to say, oh, there is crisis in my political party, there's leadership also. Any slightest, even when there's a small dispute, they call it, oh, there's a crisis, and they use the opportunity to cross over. So some lately we have also seen some penchant for crossing over to any party that is the ruling party. You see parties, opposition parties trying to cross over. Um, because our politicians, they just want, most of them, what they just want is personal access to power. So any platform that will give them that access to power, whether it meets any ideology, whether it meets the yearnings of the electorate, they don't care. That's why we have seen people always angling to be with the ruling party. Only a few people have been able to resist the temptation of crossing over to opposing parties. And among them is this the current president, who has steadfastly retained the opposition figure until 2015. Apart from him and a coterie of few others, it has been just fair weather party people.
Okay, so how do internal party structures and leadership choices affect individual loyalty to a political party in Nigeria?
Can you take that again?
I said, how do internal party structures and leadership choices affect individual loyalty to a political party in Nigeria?
Well, because of this kind of issues where people who are not really members of the political parties just cross carpet. For example, in Nigeria, it is an established tradition that if a governor cross carpets from the party in which he won the election and cross carpet into another political party, he automatically becomes the leader of that political party. This disrupts the structure of that political party. So most of the time, a structure of a political party is determined by the highest bidder or the most influential person who comes to the party. We saw that happen in the 2023 election when Mr. P2B, who was a PDP for a very long time and almost contested even the primaries from PDP, just immediately cross-carpeted to a Labour Party, disrupting all the Labour Party aspirants, presidential aspirants, had to step down for him, and he took over the party as the leader because he was the presidential candidate. So that is what we see across board. That's what we see most of the time, and this helps to disrupt the structure of the party and makes a party structure to be something not very serious. We also saw some gameplay in party structure. The party is not supreme in Nigeria. That's why the structure most of the time is not solidified. The structure is left for whims and caprices of the powerful individuals within the party. These powerful individual blocks are stronger than the party. They control the party. We have seen situations where even party executives, the chairman and all those people are not even in charge of the parties. These are the powerful blocks, are the people who are usually in charge of the parties. So this has created a lot of problems in the structure of the party. This is also because the internal mechanism of the party in terms of funding is a big problem. The funding of the party is left for politicians, especially politicians with public portfolio, like the governors, ministers, senators, House of Press member. Those most of the time, these are the people that fund the political parties. This is an aberration because if these people fund it and then they determine, they say who pays the piper dictates the tune. Therefore, when they are the ones that fund these political parties, it becomes very strong that the people, the executive council members of the parties, will always take instructions from these money bags who fund the party. Therefore, weakening the structure of the party and making it liable to the strings pulled by the financiers.
Okay, so how does regionalism influence party loyalty in Nigeria? I mean, especially with countries that have diverse ethnic regions.
I think there's a problem with formation of political parties in Nigeria. Most parties just want to be national parties. I think this is a wrong, impression. You don't need to be a national party. In the United States of America, for example, who were trying hard to copy their system of politics, you find out that there are many other parties, but the popular ones are just the Democratic Party and the Republican, because those are the truly national parties. When it comes to Nigeria, we are having issues with every small political party wants to be a national party. That is the problem, and I've advocated in the past that there should be classification of political parties in Nigeria. I am an apostle of that, and I've always argued about that. that there should be classification of political parties in Nigeria. We should have local parties within the states. We should have state parties. We should have regional parties, and then we should have national parties up to the four level. There are some political parties that are just interested in contesting the local government elections in their locality. They should be allowed to form their own political party, and the modality should come up in the constitution how to regulate those. And there should be some parties who just want to contest election in their states. They're not interested in the next state. And then there should be parties who just want to control the region, like what the Alliance for Democracy did some time ago. In 1999, we had regional parties across that line. The APP was mostly powerful in the north. Then we had the AD, powerful in the southwest. And then I think those were the two people that hardly really had regional parties between 1999. But we now found that almost fizzled. In the southeast, ABGA tried to, make a show, but it ended up with just one political party, one state alone. Where many people were thinking that ABGA would be the regional party for the east, but the PDP then was so strong then. So if we, what is happening now is that because of that, a lot of political parties now want to just, be national. But I think that should not be the case. If INEC can also come here, we can make bylaws that can regionalize the parties, stratify the parties, then we can have less problem in every party struggling. And this has affected it because regionalism also affects them in a way. So what we have now, we have national parties that are not truly national. We have national parties that don't have strong showing. For example, up until 2015, for example, the party that became APC were a conglomeration of fractionalized regional parties. For example, CPC was very strong in the north. The ACN was very strong in the southwest. And then we had a block from, splinter groups from PDP and NPP that joined. So that is that was the first semblance with PDP and then APC. That was the first semblance of fully national parties. But all that parties are just, trying to make efforts to see whether they'll be. So regionalism has helped also to, keep some parties because, for example, CPC was largely a northern party. ACN2 was a northern southwestern party. It didn't cross. So we can largely say to some extent that regionalism played a key role in political party formation in Nigeria right from time, because even if you go to the First Republic from 1960 to 1966, we had parties formed across regional lines. It was alliances from the regional lines that now made them a national party. NPC was basically, in fact, they answered their names, Northern People's Congress. So NCNC was basically for what we call Eastern Region then, basically. And then we had the other one that was also some kind of regional, the Alliance, the Action Group, AG, which was also regional, contained in the West. So these are Nigeria's political historical culture. When we came to 79 too, we also had alliances, the MPN, we also have the other one too, but you can see those ones were at least semblance of nationalism, but we can also see that some of them were entrenched more in some regions. So Nigeria has formed political parties along regional lines, except for a few, like what we now have as APC and then PDP.
Okay, we keep saying politicians defect from one political party to another, even those that are in active service in their in their political party. Are there like potential repercussions for politicians that exhibit disloyalty to their political parties?
Well, the word disloyalty is something that you have to use in the context of it, because if the politicians who defected, you ask them whether it's loyalty, they'll tell you no, it's not disloyalty, because one of the grounds for defection for politicians in Nigeria is that your political party was being crisis. For example, a lot of political parties are in crisis. So, for example, the PDP have not got their acts together, court orders, counter court orders here and there. People not agreeing to who is the authentic national secretary and who is not. there have been divisions. So if anybody cross carpets from PDP now, they may say, oh, you give that example. Labour Party is having, in fact, more serious issues. We don't even know who is the national president. Each faction is claiming to be national. There just some here yesterday that the Labour Union saying they want to, take over the secretariats of the parties. And so these are the, so if people from Labour Party now, politicians from Labour say they want to defect, the law that allow them, because there are disputes, there are lingering disputes within the party, and that is one of the major grounds. But again, we have seen people who have defected just for no cause, for no reason at all, except for personal gains. We have also some people who have defected, who have said that they're defected because the dividends of the governance that they are representing, that people will be more realistic if they are with a certain party. But when we watch, generally, we found out that most decampments or most cross-carpeting are done from opposition to ruling. So that's why it makes it look as if it tends to look more as if it's for personal gains, because we have not really seen ruling party members decamping to the opposition. So ruling party in the state, for example, or ruling party at the national level, we have not seen many of them decamping to the opposition. But we have seen a lot of influx. When PDP was in power, a lot of people left their political party and defected to the PDP. Now that the APC is in power, a lot of opposition party members are defecting to APC. So that has been the trend in this in Nigeria, and I don't think it's going to stop very soon. The repercussions are not there for now. The law doesn't state that, but there were feelers that the National Assembly tried to tinker with that, whether they can come up with some laws that we say, okay, if you are elected in a particular position, you stay in that particular position, and if you decamp from that particular or you cross carpet, you lose your seat. In the past, we have seen attempts to remove lawmakers, especially who defected from their party, but we found out that it didn't work, and there's no law that's supporting that actually. So if they want to put that law, really, they can put it. But politicians will not do that to themselves. Those in the National Assembly, I don't think they want to tie themselves up like that, because you may be a victim of the law you put in place tomorrow. So that will still be allowed to play out, because it favors the politicians to move around quickly as they want.
Okay, so what reasons do you think Nigerian politicians frequently switch their parties, and what does this say about the party's ideology?
Most of the reasons that political parties switch is because the party they are basically have lost control of power, be it control of power at the state level, or be it control of power at the central level. The second reason is that some politicians who felt shortchanged during elections, for example, maybe during the primaries, maybe were not allowed to contest, or were having issues with their party. So what most of them do is after the election, because they are aggrieved, they move away from that party and move their followers to another party. Another reason may also be that sometimes after the elections have been fought and won, some of the people who are part of the party feel that they were not recognized, or when positions have been shared, they have not been given any, and all those things. So sometimes they also lead their people out. So sometimes most of the time it's aggrieved parties that move. So those are the major reasons. Another one is that some of we have also seen some opposition parties move to the ruling party because some of them were having maybe criminal proceedings against them in the court, especially from the EFCC. And sometimes when they move to the ruling party, you find that everything just goes quiet. We have seen that a couple of times. Some people who have EFCC cases hanging on them, when they moved, everything went quiet. Some also are able to also be in the good books of the ruling party, where you can gain more, you can get positions, you can get appointments. So these are various regions. You can get contracts, you can get a lot of things. That a lot of perks from the ruling party, be it at the state level or at the federal level. So these are some of the things that make politicians move from one party to another. None is based on ideology, because if you see people who have moved around, for example, Mr. Atiku Abubakar, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has moved to how many political parties in the past? Up to 3. The same thing with Mr. P2B. He has moved, he has been in ABGA, he has been in APDP, he's now in Labour. So many of them, you can see people who even swore that they will never, be a part of any political party. They swore on their lives, and they're back there. Then another reason sometimes is that we see politicians not moving, they're not even cross-carpeted, they're in the same party, but they're doing the work of the opposition, trying to make sure that the party they're in, they don't support them. We have seen that happen as well. So you find out that in the mix, all their pursuit of benefits, personal benefits for their political careers.
Interesting. So how does frequent defection impact voters' trust in the politicians in Nigerian politics general?
Well, the political parties in Nigeria don't have followers in a great sense of followership. They don't. In Nigeria, the electorate mostly follow individuals. The individuals with their charisma, individuals with their track records, individuals who have influence, individuals who are seen as people who can, really, provide political benefits for them. So they don't follow parties. So henceforth, so without when we see a politician moves, we see his followers move with him, or vote with him, and that was very easy for a lot of people. So because when you see the trajectory, there was a time our former president Buhari was in ANPP. He had his followers. When he now formed his own political party, CPC, a lot of those followers moved from ANPP to join him in the CPC. And when he moved to coalition to form the APC, they also moved with him. So these are the things we have also been saying. So it is the electorate, the voters, don't believe also in party ideology. The electorates in Nigeria do not have party loyalty. The electorates believe in individual politicians. And it is always where these individual politicians move to that they also align with. And so it is easy to actually move your supporters to your new political party. So voters' choice
Igboke, do you think the Nigerian constitution should be amended to replace stricter restrictions on party defections?
For now, I think that is not our problem in Nigeria, because all the political parties are the same. They lack basic ideologies that will make their members stay. So they are all platforms. All political parties are mere platforms for self-political actualization. So I don't think that is the problem. The problem is, how do we strengthen good governance? How do we ensure that public office holders and elected officials are held accountable by the electorate? That is what we should be pursuing: good governance, and not political parties. Once good governance set in, it will. I think the law should be tightened more on party funding, on whittling down the influences of individuals over parties, and that is only when we can now solve the problem. But when we have issues where individuals fund parties and determine what happens in the party, then there will be a problem. Not about defection. When these fundamental things are taken care of, defection will be reduced.
Okay, so what trends do you think in terms of party loyalty in Nigerian politics, and how might they shape the future of governance in the country?
I didn't get your question.
I said, what trends do you think in terms of party loyalty in Nigerian politics, and how best can this shape the future of governance in Nigeria?
Well, the trend will continue. The trend is what we have. The trend, as it is now, will continue. The trend is that individual politicians want to actualize their political goals, and in doing that, they go to political parties that best satisfies that. And for now, the trend is that most politicians gravitate towards the ruling party, either the federal level or at the state level. Then for the future, I reiterate my point that we should try to stratify political parties We should have the local, the state, regional, and then the federal, the ones that can do national election. Every political party should not just be registered and allowed to contest national elections. They should be regionalized. They should be kind of categorized, and that will, help us better. Then for the future, I also think that at the point we are now, we should be allowing for individuals to run on their own without political platforms. Because there's a lot of issues where you campaign on the strength of an individual, and there's the logo of the political party that is in the election ballot papers. That is an issue that also needs to be addressed. Then the issue of party funding, as I've said earlier, should also be addressed. Will individuals be allowed to bring 50% or 60% of the funding of a political party? Should public officers of the party should be allowed to donate public funds for their political parties? What makes party members to be loyal members where they are not having, where they don't contribute to the development of the party, rather they come to share money or look for money or whatever? If you say you're a member of a club or you're a member of an association, you pay dues. So if you're a member of a club, of a political party, do you pay dues? Do you pay your monthly party dues? So these things have been quenched. If, for example, a party has 10 million members and every month they pay 100 naira or 200 naira as party members or 500, you see that the political party will have money to run elections and will not be always beggarly when elections come around. But for now, they don't even have to even run elections, to even do meetings. A lot of the political parties depend on their public office holders, like the governor, the local government chairman, the senators, the House of Reps member, or the other legislators to fund even ward party meetings, state party meetings, and the rest. So the political parties don't have money. And this is why most of the time, the people with the big money come to influence things that happen there. So these are the things we should be looking at critically to actually see how we can address the issue of loyalty and, of course, cross-carpeting.
Looking at the current situation of political parties in Nigeria currently, in a nutshell, what do you think is the fate of Nigerian politics in years to come?
We are learning. Nigeria has had staggered or staccato democratic experience. We had from 1960 to 1966, and we had a parliamentary system. We experimented it. But what I think is still the best, I don't know why in 1976 we set up the Rotimi Williams, FRA Williams Constitution Review Committee that now gave us the presidential system. I think that we should revert to the parliamentary system. It's more cost effective, it's less expensive. When we came there, we now found out that we have not really, mustered democratic settings because it was truncated again from 1979-83. It was truncated. So this is the first time actually that we had a long period of democracy that we are learning, we are falling, we are at teaching stage. We are learning the electoral system is being experimented. So this is 27 years, and we are still learning. But we seem to not learn and move forward. We learn and go backward. So we should try to learn and move forward so that we can keep improving. What happened in the last election was a shame. We thought we have, conquered some obstacles in terms of voting and election, where we thought that, with the beavers, with, IREV and all those things, we thought results can be transmitted real time. So these are the things we can improve on. We need also to change our mindset, our orientation. We see election as a do or die affair still. That mindset should change. We see an election not coming to serve the people, but for our own personal benefit. That orientation should change too. And for the electorates, we see election as sectional, as it's our own person time to rule, and our own person's time to be elected. And so we are still pre-modal in our election choices. And that is also something we should look at and throw away. And then we should also maintain for now, the kind of elections we do. We are still growing, we are not matured yet. So we should also look at the issues of continuing the rotation that we are currently doing so that we'll have peaceful transition, so that north, south, the way we have been doing it from now until we will mature the north. And also for many states that are having it tough, I think they should emulate what some states are doing. A state like Enugu State, for example, is doing well with the rotational principle of among the 3 senatorial districts, and that has calmed down a lot of nerves. If other states can also adopt that system, you find that there will be less rancor. So we can do that where we go up to a particular time where we can now say, okay, merit solely is what is needed. But for now, only merit cannot determine our democracy where we are today. We still need other plenty factors because we are still at the teething stage. But a child who is 27 should be becoming a man or a woman who can stand on his or her own. So my take will be that let's learn from our history and strengthen our future.
Thank you so much, Igboke. It was amazing having this conversation with you.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.